Hey there, my fellow language learners, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you a brief introduction and playthrough of this language learning card game that I have designed. It's called Heading Into Language Land. It has printable, virtual, and real deck versions like the one I'm holding in my hand right now. We are playing online every Saturday with the virtual version. We have gaming groups for several different languages, so if you want to come out and give it a try and play with us, you can visit languagecardgames.com to learn more. Okay, so at the top of the game, what you're going to want to do is choose your starting character. You can be any character that you want to be. You can even be the quote-unquote bad guys like the troll. Okay, I'm going to choose the sword fighter Naomi. And then you want to set your longevity points, which are essentially like life points, but they also have a power function, to 3. And then you need a d6 to roll for chance and a character pawn to mark where you are on the board. After you've chosen your character, then you can shuffle the remaining cards and build a board of spaces. You can make a grid shape would work fine. You can make it as large or as small as you want. If you make a smaller board, it's going to be more likely that players get into battles with each other. And if you make a larger board, it's harder to meet other players in battle. So the size and the shape of the board can create different effects. So what you do in this game is first, you flip over a card that shows where you want to move. You don't roll a dice at the top of your turn. You don't move right away at the top of your turn. You simply indicate where you want to go by flipping over a card which is right next to where you currently are. Right now, we have not entered the board. We're say here on the side of the board, so I can flip over this one. Okay, in this game, you flip over, there's different types of cards, and depending on what you encounter, you would speak about different sorts of topics and take different kinds of actions. Now, that part of the game, yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but that's really the most complicated part of the game. So if you encounter an animal or a weapon or a pickup, something like that, or an ally, these are all things that you would want to call onto your team, so to speak. So in order to make that happen, you would roll a d6 and speak about a topic that's on that card itself. So it's sort of like you are calling that card over. So allies, animals, and pickups are like this. As you can see on the cards, there's only word topics or categories numbered 2, 3, 4, 5. So what does that mean? Well, if you roll a 1 when you're trying to find out what topic to speak about, that is sort of unlucky. It means another player can choose the topic for you and try to trip you up. They might try to choose something that they know you're a little weak on. If you roll a 6, that's lucky. That means you can choose any of the topics. So that adds a little bit of randomosity into the game. So I would speak about the topic in my target language. I could give an example, a single word, a short phrase, or even speak a few sentences about the topic according to my ability level, according to what I feel comfortable with. In a lot of our online gaming sessions, we encourage players to share answers, look things up as we go along so that everybody learns and everybody has fun. So that's fine. You just try your best to speak about the topic, and if you can do it, then you take a certain action. Now, if you encounter an animal, a pickup, or an ally being another character with the same color name, then it can join your team, and that's going to give you more options of things that you can speak about when you battle enemies or other players. So if you build a stronger team, you're going to have more options. If you're successful, you replace the empty space with a fresh card from the deck, move your pawn, gain a longevity point, which strengthens you and will help you in battles, and then your turn is officially over. So I love the function in this game of how the spaces replenish themselves, because it means no two games are ever going to be quite the same. and the order in which you encounter things will always be different and random, so it has this nice discovery or exploratory feel. And there are locations, so if you encounter locations, the locations remain on the board, and that sort of builds out a map of places that players might want to move to for different reasons. Now, normally our turn would end there, and on our next turn, we could flip over this card or this card or this card or this card or this card. These cards which surround us, we would flip over one to indicate where we want to move, and then our turn starts again. But let's just flip over a few of these and see, for example, what's here on the board right now. Okay, there's an ally character. There's an enemy character. We know it's an enemy because opposite color name. Another enemy, an ally, an ally. Oh, this is an ally. This is a card commission that I did for a friend and a customer, and another enemy. So there are some duplicate cards, which is good for repetition, but there's over 100 different topics in this deck in all. Let me show you some of the locations, because those didn't come up, and those can be kind of cool. So the Speak Plains, Embertell, see if we can get one more, Words Way. So we've gone over pretty much the basic card types, locations, allies and enemies, pickups, stuff like that. If you encounter an enemy card, or if you move on to the same space that another player is already on, then you have a battle and you look at the topics on your team cards. So if I roll a 3, for example, and I've got these two cards on my team, I can choose apparel or direction. I can speak about either of those to pass the level or pass the category and take the action. So in this game, a simple way to play is first player to earn 10 longevity points wins. But there can be other ways too. For example, you could set different parameters, like if you defeat a certain number of enemy cards, or if you accumulate a certain number of allies on your team, then you also could win. So you could have a multi-objective sort of game going on here. I think with some experimentation, you could find that really fun. But basically, this is how the game works. And one more thing that I'll note about this game before I go is that it can be played in a really simple way where you ignore the special power texts or rule texts which are on each card. And that will let you just move around and focus about speaking about these different topics in your target language. But if you want to bring more complexity and strategy into the game, then you can just start to pay attention to these special power texts, which usually will activate when you speak about different categories on the cards. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you back here in the next one.